Relationships change as we get older, but what happens when a wife who has been married for decades starts to feel far away from her husband? What makes a woman who used to love her partner slowly pull away, lose interest, and feel indifferent? This is a reality that many couples face, but not many talk about it. The slow loss of affection, the small changes in behavior, and the quiet anger that builds over time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of unmet needs, unspoken words, and missed moments. Often, it's not what you think it is. It's not about falling out of love. It's about realizing what love should feel like. And most of the time, it's very practical. Today, we're going to talk about why women start to feel different about their husbands as they get older, and what can be done to change that before it's too late. If you're a husband, a wife, or someone interested in long-term relationships, stay with me until the end. This may change the way you forever think about love, getting older, and marriage. First, for years, the emotional work gets too much. A lot of women in marriages take on the emotional caregiving role. They remember everyone's birthdays, plan family events, make doctor appointments, and run the household. But as they get older, they realize that this unseen work has hurt them, and the harsh truth is that most men don't even realize it's happening. Women start to feel like they are carrying the marriage on their backs, while their husbands just exist within it. Number two, because they didn't talk to each other much in the early years, conversations are full of questions. What did you think about today? Tell me about your dreams. But as time goes on, many husbands stop having deep, meaningful conversations with their wives. Instead, the conversations become boring and predictable, or even stop happening altogether. A woman wants emotional intimacy just as much as she wants company. Without it, she starts to feel like she's not being seen, heard, or appreciated. Number three. One of the most common complaints from women in long-term marriages is that they have to do all the housework all the time. The never-ending burden of housework. Studies show that most housework is still done by women after they retire, and by the time they are seniors, many of them are just sick of it. Small things that bother you at first. Things like dirty dishes in the sink and clothes that aren't put away led to deep anger, and the woman starts to ask herself, why do I have to keep doing everything? Number four. As women get older, many of them want to grow as people. They want to travel, learn new things, and interact with the world. But if their husbands refuse to change with them, they start to feel stuck and like they are outgrowing the marriage itself. If a woman feels like she is changing while her partner stays the same, the emotional gap between them gets bigger. Fifth, a loss of closeness, both physically and emotionally. Intimacy is not just about physical closeness, it's about feeling emotionally connected, feeling desired over time. Many couples lose this spark, and for a woman this loss can feel like a sign that love itself is fading. If a woman no longer feels desired, no longer feels that her husband sees her the way he once did, she begins to emotionally detach. Number six, retirement changes everything, but not always for the better. Retirement is often seen as the golden chapter of life, a time to relax, travel, and enjoy each other's company. But for many couples it becomes a source of tension. Why? Because suddenly they are spending all their time together, and many men struggle to adjust. Many men enter retirement with no clear plan. They go from working full-time to sitting around unsure of what to do. And unfortunately, in many marriages, this means the wife suddenly becomes the husband's entertainment committee. He expects her to fill his time to take care of him, to be his constant companion. This can be overwhelming for a woman who has spent her whole life managing responsibilities, instead of retirement being a time of peace. It can feel suffocating, like she's lost the freedom she was looking forward to, without separate hobbies, friendships, or interests. a woman can start to feel trapped in a life she didn't sign up for, and this resentment can quietly erode her love for her husband. Seventh, she no longer feels loved, heard, or hurt. Not fighting is one of the worst things about being married. Feeling invisible is one of the worst things. Many women who have been the emotional support of the family for years reach a point where they feel like their voices don't matter anymore. They talk about their worries, their feelings, and their attempts to have meaningful conversations, but their husbands don't really listen. A wife doesn't need big gestures. She just needs to know that her thoughts, opinions, and emotions still matter to the person she's been with for decades. When that stops happening, she starts to emotionally withdraw, and it's hard to get back. If a woman feels ignored for long enough, she stops trying, and love turns into quiet resentment. Eighth, she realizes that life is short, and she wants more. As people get older, they start to see life differently. They lose friends and go to more funerals, and they realize that time is valuable. For many women, this realization changes how they see their marriage. She starts to ask herself hard questions like, am I happy? Do I feel loved? Is this how I want to spend the rest of my years? If the answers don't satisfy her, she may start to pull away, not out of anger, but to protect herself. Many women reach a stage where they no longer want to fight, nag, or beg for attention. They simply focus on their own well-being, and if their husband doesn't meet them halfway, they quietly detach emotionally and sometimes even physically. This is why some women after decades of marriage stop trying, not because they don't care, but because they've realized they deserve more than just existing in someone else's life. As we reach the later years of life, relationships are not about grand romantic gestures. They are about presence, understanding, and respect. When a woman starts to feel distant from her husband, it is rarely because she has simply fallen out of love. It is often because she no longer feels seen, valued, or appreciated. This is the story of many marriages. Love doesn't disappear in one dramatic moment. It fades in the small, unnoticed ones, in the moments where a woman feels unheard, in the years where she carries emotional burdens alone, in the times when she needs support but only finds silence. But does it have to be this way? No, love is a choice, and just as it fades, it can also be reignited. If you're a husband watching this, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to your wife? When was the last time you showed her appreciation, not just as a partner, but as a person? And if you're a wife feeling disconnected, is there still room for rebuilding that connection? Getting married isn't the goal. It's about choosing each other over and over again, even when the years have changed you. It's about making small efforts that show you're still important to me. If you only remember one thing from this video, it's that love doesn't die with age. It dies when we stop caring for it. If you want to keep your relationship alive in your later years, it's never too late to start. Choose love, choose understanding, and most of all, choose each other. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself and your relationships. They are the most valuable things in your life.